live in 3, 2, 1. You're good to go.
What's going on, everybody? Here I am at the Sauce headquarters in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, all the way across the country. Decent show or decent slate today of games. There are gonna be some games that I just have a little bit of opinions on because they're not really that important. But a couple games I definitely have some plays I love. VIPs will be right out after this. So let's just get this party started. First game up with this Rays and Guardians game. Honestly, I just think that this number is too low. The total's at 6.5. I'm going to play that first 5 over 3 at minus 115 for 0.75 units. I just think that the number 3 is a little bit too low. If it would have been 3.5, I might have gotten away with it. But with 3 and that push condition, I'll take it. We're getting the numbers because of the 2 names on the mound, Glasnow and McKenzie. I shouldn't have to tell you if you're watching this show how good McKenzie's been. We also know at times how bad he can look. Definitely one of the more volatile pitchers in the league. But Glasnow is a guy who's been very good for the Rays for a long time, but we haven't seen him all year. He's coming back from injury, so he did get some work in the minor leagues and whatnot, but both teams should be able to score. And I honestly think that Cleveland could put up 3 themselves just because they're on such a roll right now. They really don't strike out. This isn't the best team for Glasnow to face when he's right out of the gate. So first 5 over 3, I think the worst possible case is a push. So that's where we're at for that one. Next game would be the Royals and the Tigers. I'm all over the Tigers here. Tigers money line for a full unit. It'll be a VIP play as well. First and foremost, the Tigers are rolling right now. I know that they've been kind of the butt of our jokes because a lot of us, me included, really thought that the Tigers would be a team that was competing. They haven't at all. But what they have done over the last couple of weeks is play really good baseball, especially on the road. But they're 7-3 their last 10. Scoring a lot of runs a game, and now they get Matt Manning at home, who his last start at home against the White Sox, 7 innings, no runs against the White Sox. He's got 6 innings against the Giants, no runs at home this year. Matt Manning has been very good. The Royals on the road is usually a fade. Not to mention you get Daniel Lynch, who obviously is not a good pitcher in any way, shape, or form, especially on the road. Oh, by the way, he's a lefty, which is obviously a spot that we'd like to take the Tigers. As much as these 2 teams are shitty, and I said earlier that there's a couple games I'm going to have opinions on, I'm definitely playing the Tigers here today. I think they continue to roll. Next game is the Braves and the Nats. And this is a spot where it's the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets, where I'm playing them all. The Braves won yesterday, but Mets and Phillies lost yesterday. They're all fighting for that same couple spots in the National League playoff picture. Phillies are obviously down in that wild card spot. But as far as the Braves go, obviously we know Josiah Gray. I would love to play Washington. I was on Washington first 5 yesterday. It was 0-0 going into the 5th, and then the Braves went nuts. Josiah Gray, obviously we want him on the road. During the day, if you want to get even more specific about it, but just on the road in general for me is a spot I like Gray. Definitely not at home and definitely not against the Braves. Odorizzi is a guy that used to be an Astro, so I trust him. I mean, he has a couple. If you look at his game logs, he only has 1 or 2 bad starts. He's just a guy that I trust. This is a game that, obviously a lot of these games the Braves and Mets are going to need, but if the Braves are going to win this division, they have a big 3-game setup coming with the Mets this weekend. I just have a hard time believing they come out not focused here. They just can't take any games off. So Braves minus 1.5 at minus 125, I think it is for 0.75 units. My bad, guys. I forgot I didn't say the bet before that. My apologies. But, it's at minus 125, so we're all good. Next game up. Toronto and the Yankees. This one is actually going to be pretty fun. 2 plays in this game off the bat. Toronto money line at plus 105 for a half a unit, and then over 7.5 at minus 115 for 0.75 units. First and foremost, Mitch White is been pitching horrible those last 3 or 4 starts. His last good start was against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. But if you flip it over and you take a look at Garrett Cole and what he's done, he has had no success at all against the Blue Jays at home or on the road. He hasn't had a decent start in the Blue Jays against the Blue Jays in probably 2 years. His 2 starts this year, 11 and 2/3 innings total, 9 hits, 7 runs, only 11 strikeouts. And if Cole's going, he's getting those Ks. I mean, look at what he's done his last couple starts, 8, 8, 10, and 14. So when he's pitching well, he's getting Ks. He just doesn't really seem to do that against the Blue Jays, not to mention the fact that Yankees clinched yesterday. So they were yesterday popping champagne and all that stuff. I just don't really like the spot for them. Either way, I think the Yankees maybe later in the game can score some runs. But at the same time, Toronto didn't use any of those bullpens guys. So Romano and all those guys are fully fresh, 2-3 days of rest. So I think Toronto gets the Cole. The Yankees have been scoring a lot of runs lately. So that's why I like the over at 7.5 too. But I do think Toronto gets the W here today. Orioles and the Red Sox. This game, I know a lot of people are probably on the Orioles. I'm only going to play their team total, and here's why. The Red Sox are playing 7-3 their last 10, but if they're scoring runs at a crazy rate, like 13, 8, 5, 4, 4, 5, 13 a game. There's only like a couple ones sprinkled in the last 10 games. So Baltimore team total over 4.5 at -105 for a half a unit. And then Baltimore first 5 team total over 2.5 at +120 for a half a unit as well. Facing Rich Hill. And if you know Rich Hill, you want to get him on the road. Baltimore has seen Rich Hill. Well, we'll put it back on Rich Hill. Rich Hill in his, I think it was 12 home starts. He's 10-2 to the over in that first 5 total, going 2.5. He's given up 3 or more runs in 10 of his 12 starts or something crazy like that. And then against the Orioles this year, he hasn't done well at all. In Boston, against the Orioles this year, not so good. 4 innings, 6 runs. 4 2/3, 4 runs. But in Boston, he did much better. 9 total innings, 0 runs. But like Beaver taught us a while ago, you want Rich Hill on the road, not at home. So Kramer's actually been really good for Baltimore his last 7 starts. But like I said, just those Boston bats at home with Fenway just kind of scared me a little bit. I don't think that we see 29 runs or whatever it was crazy like we saw yesterday. But I do think Baltimore gets up and over their team total today. Next game up is the Mets and the Marlins. I will be in the house to watch the Mets smash tonight. Mets -1.5 for just a half a unit at +115. Taijuan Walker against Jesus Luzardo. Walker in his, I'm going to actually look it up just so I know the exact numbers because it's been pretty damn good. Against the Marlins this year in his 2 home starts, 13 2/3 innings, 16 strikeouts, and only 1 run. He's really, really pitched well. He's also pitched well in Miami as well. But since it's at home, I wanted to isolate those stats just to show how dominant he's been. And then Luzardo, I will give him credit. He has pitched well over his last couple of games, but those are against the teams like the Cubs and the Nationals. The last time he saw the Mets 3 starts ago, he got lit up for 5 runs. So Mets coming off a loss with the Braves winning yesterday as well. I think that we see a full-out effort from the Mets tonight, and we see a lot of runs. Mets all day tonight. Let's hope. Jesus, that team didn't scare me lately. Next game up is the Phillies and the Cubs. Same type of difference with this Phillies team.
Your camera got blurry. I don't know why.
That's weird. Sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell happened with the camera.
Wave your hand like this. Oh, you turn it off. There you go.
There we go. Okay. Anyway, Phillies and the Cubs. I don't know what got into the Cubs yesterday. They've been playing pretty decent baseball, but obviously they've been playing some bad teams. The Phillies had their main guy, what's his face? Not Nola, the other guy. I'm totally blanking on his name right now. Who's the other Philly starter? Wheeler. Jesus, sorry. Wheeler on the mound with Sindler following. Wheeler didn't even pitch bad. They just couldn't score any runs yesterday. But I think that with Nola on the mound, this Hayden Wazinski kid has actually pitched really well his first 2 starts. 13 total innings, only 3 runs, but that's against Pittsburgh and Colorado. Colorado's horrible on the road. Pittsburgh really wasn't playing well at all either. Nola doesn't have crazy great numbers against the Cubs, but the Phillies really, really do smash right-handed pitching. Again, with the Mets in a spot against the Marlins, I just think that this is where we see a Phillies team with a full effort today. And like I said, they've smashed right-handed pitching. So Phillies minus 1.5 at plus or minus 110 for a half a unit. But the play I like more is Phillies Mets money line parlay. And if you parlay together, I think it's at 131. Yeah, 131 for 0.75 units. I think both these teams win today. Playing them both on the run line as well, but I think that both these teams win for sure.
That was plus 131 on that.
Yeah, plus 131. White Sox and Twins is next. Look, I would play the Twins. It's a lean on the Twins money line or over. I don't really want to get involved with either of these two teams. They have nothing to play for. Twins money line in love of Sauce and his hatred of Johnny Cueto, obviously. But honestly, it has nothing to do with that. The White Sox have just been absolutely horrible the last couple of weeks after being eliminated from the playoffs. There's just no way I can get behind them. And then as far as the Twins, they've been just as equally as bad. So you're literally flipping a coin here on this one. Twins on a lean for me. Next game up is the Diamondbacks and Astros. And if this is a pitching guy, this is one of the better matchups on the board, and you're going to see probably in a while. Gallen versus Verlander. Verlander coming off that start in Baltimore where he looked really damn good, except the Astros didn't score a run and they lost 2-0. Zach Gallen, as we know, who's been just fantastic for the Diamondbacks all year long. I'm going to play this game under 6.5 at minus 115 for 0.75 units. I understand that yesterday the Astros scored like 10 runs or whatever it was, but usually if you look at the series history, these teams don't play a ton against each other because they're now American and National League. But the last couple games between each other, 3-2, 2-1, 4-2, and those were with a lot worse pitchers. So now you're getting Verlander and Gallen on the mound. I think I think we see a pitching duel here today. This game has like 4-2, 3-2 written all over it. So I don't really want to pick a side. And the only reason I say that is because when I saw this and I saw Gallen at plus 160, I was automatically gravitated towards him. But in my head, that's just enough for the books to suck me in, and I just don't want to. And I don't really. And the run line is like minus 160, so I just don't want to deal with it. Like I said, I think it's a pitching duel here today. And I think the books like the under. That's why they're not giving that Arizona run line very much juice, because at 6.5 at plus 1.5, there's not very much leeway there. So I think this game stays under, and that's how we're going to play it. Next game is the Athletics and the Angels. Again, another one of those games where it's kind of hard to get a read on it just because these teams are so bad. If I had to make a play on it, this is just a lean. It's not going to be on VIP. I'm not going to bet it myself. But if I did have to play this game, gun to my head, I would do Angels first 5 on the run line at minus 115. Look, Lorenzen has been, after coming back from injury, he's actually been pretty damn well. A start against Houston, Seattle, and Texas. So all those teams inside the division. It's not like he's winning games, but when he's going, that's 15 total innings, only 7 runs. That's pretty impressive. Adrian Martinez has been slashed for make sure it's like 7. I know it's 5+ more his last 3 or more starts. 5 against Seattle, 4 against Houston in 5 innings, 7 against the White Sox. It's just been really bad for Adrian Martinez. Angels haven't been playing horrible either. But like I said, neither team has nothing to play for. They're out. Just nothing I really want to get involved with too much. Next game up is the Padres and the Dodgers. We actually had fun watching this one. Me and Sauce had bet the Padres early, and then it was like 6th, 7th inning. The Dodgers kept on threatening, and they were still giving us the Dodgers at plus 170. So, of course, we bet the Dodgers live. The Dodgers tie it. And then they blow it in the 10th inning or whatever it was.
It was the 11th.
Yeah, 11th inning. It is what it is. But I am going to play the Dodgers here today because my boy Julio Urias is on the mound. So Dodgers minus 1.5 at plus 120 just for a half a unit. It's only a half a unit just because the Dodgers don't really have much to play for. But Urias is one of my guys. he was like the original rent payer. We had Tony this year, but Julio Urias is like 40-10 the last 2 years. Maybe it's 30-10 the last 2 years, but either way, fantastic numbers the last 3 years. One of the guys you can really count on. And then Musgrove has looked good his last couple of starts, but he hasn't looked good a month prior to that. So I'm really not on this whole, I think Musgrove's turned it around. Also, St. Louis wasn't playing well during the time. That was when they weren't scoring runs at all. And then at Arizona, he pitched well. He's dominated them for most of their career. Again, it's Arizona. He saw the Dodgers 3 starts ago and gave up 4 runs. So it's just really hard for me to bet against Urias. If there was anybody else on the Dodgers pitching today, maybe, just maybe, I take the Padres at a nice plus price. But with Urias on the mound, I know he's probably going to give me 7 innings of 1 or 2 run ball max. So I got to play the Dodgers minus. My original normal Dodgers minus 1.5 bet for me. Next game is the Rangers and the Mariners.
Did we skip Cardinals Brewers or my bad?
Oh, we did. I did. Yep. Cardinals and Brewers. I accidentally skipped that one. That's my fault. And I actually really like the Brewers here today. So Brewers on the money line, minus 155 for a full unit. And then Brewers minus 1.5 at plus 140 for a half a unit. I'm not in the business of fading the Cardinals for a full unit and a half most of the time. But I'm definitely going to do it today. Not only did the Cardinals clinch the division yesterday, so they're probably going to rest some guys today. I have looked up lineups. There have not been posted yet. Quintana, his last 2 starts in Milwaukee, both of them well, he did actually have a win, but he didn't pitch well. 9 1/3 innings, 8 runs, 4 walks. It just hasn't been great. And then Brandon Woodruff. I'm on record. I am not a Brandon Woodruff guy, so I know it doesn't mean much to most people, but if I'm betting Woodruff like this, I really got to like it. He's been dominant on his last few starts, especially coming back from injury. Cincinnati, New York, Cincinnati again, Colorado. He gave up 2 runs in Cincinnati. Besides that, it's all 1 run or less in all those starts. Very, very solid shit there from Woodruff. Don't love the Milwaukee bullpen. Like if I see Boxberger, I'm going to be fucking shitting my pants right now. But I really think that we can get from Woodruff to Devin Williams, and if we can get to there, I think that we have a really solid. I really like the money line, but as far as that 1.5, as long as Milwaukee can get a couple of runs, I think Woodruff gets us there. So yeah, I'm all over Milwaukee today.
It was minus 1.5 and plus 115.
No, it's at plus 140.
Ooh.
Yeah, super juicy. Super juicy. Okay, now back to the Mariners and the Rangers. Sorry about that, guys. That was one I really liked, too. I would love to play the Mariners on the run line again today and take a fat loss. I'm not going to do it. I am going to play the Mariners to win and to finally get a win here today. It's going to be an SGP. Seattle on the money line. Under 9.5 at plus 105. Martin Perez has been really good. I think Kirby is being a little bit, I can't say he's being undervalued. He's a minus 162 favorite. But he's coming off a pretty bad start against Oakland. He's been pitching very well at home. Seattle plays much better at home. They haven't been playing good baseball right now. That's why it's only a half a unit. That's why I'm playing the under with it, because I just don't see a whole bunch of runs in this game. If you wanted to play the under by itself, I don't hate it. But I just think that there's only a matter of time before the Seattle bats come alive. So, like I said, Seattle to win the game, under 9.5. Nothing crazy. I understand that Seattle's still fighting for a playoff spot and whatnot. That's why I'm betting on them today. But as far as laying a 1.5 or any crazy huge bet on them, I just can't get there. So that's it for me.
Rockies Giants. Right?
Oh, there is Rockies Giants. I forgot about that one. It's because the Giants doesn't have a pitcher yet.
Oh, look.
I would lean the Giants just because they've actually been playing pretty decent, but they don't have a pitcher yet, so I really couldn't give you a whole bunch on it. I will say that Jose Urena is pitching for the Rockies, and if you know him, he's one of the guys that's gotten shelled sometimes, instant fade. He hasn't actually had horrible numbers against the Giants this year. His last 2 starts against the Giants, 5 2/3, only 2 runs, 6 2/3, only 3 runs. So maybe worth a look at the Rockies. As soon as I say that, I stop myself because the Rockies are playing with nothing. CJ Cron's not playing. Chris Bryant's not playing. Randall Grichuk's not playing. Or he might be back now. But either way, it's like a AAA lineup out there. It's just really, really hard, especially on the road, to get behind the Rockies here today. As far as props, I had a couple written down. They will be on. I'll post them later. I'm trying to remember. Vlad over 1.5 total bases at plus 120 was one of them. Willie Castro over 1.5 total bases for the Tigers was plus 120. That was another one of them. And I can't remember. Oh, Willie Adames was the other one for the Brewers over 1.5 total bases. I think his was only at like plus 105.
Lindor? You like something with Lindor?
No, I just think he's going to tap a dick shot tonight since I'm in the house. But I can't give that out to the people. That's just kind of crazy. But I do hope that Lindor hits a homer while I'm there tonight. I would really love that. So, tomorrow, let me look at the schedule to see what time these games are. Everything's at night. So it'll be like a 2 or 3 o'clock show tomorrow, depending on when these guys are good. But yeah, everything's later. There's a couple games early. That's Tigers and Royals and stuff that really aren't matter. All the Padres, Rangers, Guardians, all that, Marlins, all those Brewers, all those games are late tomorrow. So later show tomorrow. VIP will be posted in the next 20 minutes or so. If you need me, hit me up on Twitter. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.